All righty, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hello and welcome in to episode number 82 of Clark After Dark. Is Ted Nugent's going to bring you in, baby? Sometimes I just like to be quiet and let the tunes bring us into a good old Wednesday afternoon special here on Clark After Dark. My man Cortland Smith's on the other side of the line. He'll join me here in just a matter of moments, folks. The World of Outlaws late models are on the racetrack tonight at Independence Motor Speedway. I got that live in the background on Dirt Vision right now. The weather has not been too good for racing here in the Arklatex in recent, but we did get a race or two in this past weekend live on RaceON.com. We'll talk about all that, of course. And, of course, we did get in a couple of other races regionally and nationally. Carson Hocevar is a first-time NASCAR Cup Series winner at Talladega. Again, weather's already looking a little bit sketchy for this weekend. It's a lose-lose situation for the racetrack because these weather apps aren't always accurate, but you have to respect them, right? I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth when I bring Cortland on. High Limit Sprint Car Series is also scheduled to be live on Flow Racing tonight at the Arrowhead Speedway in Concord, Oklahoma. Unfortunately, weather got that one as well. It's just been a tough start to 2026 for all involved in the dirt track racing world as the series heads to the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track this weekend, paired up with NASCAR weekend. Welcome on my co-host of this podcast now. He's from Alexandria, Louisiana. My man Cortland Smith joins me now. I'll ask you every week like I do, how we doing, big dog? One of these weeks, I'm going to ask you how you're doing. And one of these days, you're going to be like, man, it's been a really bad day or something, because every week, everything is going good. Everything's going good in the hood for Cortland Smith. You ain't failed me yet. What's happening in the world of Cortland Smith?
Well, look, the way I look at it is everybody's got problems, and it ain't no good in complaining about it because we all got problems, right? So I try to make the best out of every day. That's the way I go about it. But, man, we're doing pretty good. Those school years winding down. We start spring football here pretty soon, so that'll be pretty exciting. We get to go out on the field and actually get back to practicing some. I've been as some of the kids, it's funny. You see them walk into school the next day, and you can either tell that their arms are sore, their legs are sore. So we're making progress in the weight room, man. I'm really excited about it. And like you said, man, the racing hasn't necessarily been we haven't got to as many races we probably would like, right? These past couple of weeks, the weather has seemed to plague us more than it has beginning of the year. But, man, it's an exciting time, man. You kind of alluded to it, whether weather good or bad or indifferent. There's a lot of big races here coming up in the next weeks. And, man, once we hit this 30K in 2 weeks, it just seems like we steamroll big show after big show, right? Like we started this past weekend at RPM, and it just seems like once we start this May, it's about May when everything starts getting kicked off, right? And it seems like every single weekend it's some type of crown jewel. And it's one of those deals like you look at national tours, they start to show me 100. And then after that, it's like just a crown jewel almost every weekend now at some point, right? And then we've kind of adopted that down here as well, which some people maybe like it. Some people maybe hate it. Some people maybe wish they had more days off of work, right? Like it's just part of the deal. But, we're at that time of the year where we get fired off. What you got?
In a way, I feel like this rain, like as silly as this may sound, I feel like it kind of helps the racetracks maybe in the long run, or maybe even in the short term, right? Because you think about all these drivers that have been rained out here in recent memory, to start off this year. Everybody's ready to debut their new cars. And maybe earlier on in the year, right, there was a lot of guys who just weren't ready yet, right? Their cars weren't ready to go. Maybe they're waiting on sheet metal, they're waiting on parts. But in a way, especially for this 30K, I really think that may help us more than it hurts us, because there's going to be so many people that have been sitting on the sidelines for the last few weeks. Yes, racers race, and there's guys that travel, right? There's a lot of guys from around this region that travel to RPM to race the RaceON All-Star Challenge this last weekend, though there were a few that saved their equipment and didn't travel over there, right? Josh Martin didn't go. Justin Whitehead was one that a lot of people may have expected to be over there. I haven't had a chance to follow up with him yet, but a lot of people messaged me last week like, have you talked to 36J and asked him why he ain't running the All-Star Challenge? And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure he's doing whatever's best for his program. At the end of the day, I'm sure he'll make the majority of those All-Star Challenge races. But yeah, I don't know, man. Would you agree? Do you think that all these rainouts, I think it's going to help us when we do get back to the racetrack. No, it's not helping us when we get rained out every Saturday night, but I think it's going to help as far as car count's concerned, and all the fans that have been saving money that haven't been spending money to come to the racetrack the last few weeks, they can save their money and come to maybe some of these bigger races that we have on tap.
Yeah, just you get that itch, right? Like it's sometimes a lot of these guys that they're so excited and they maybe race only one or two times, right? And then like we get rained out and you're just sitting there and you're like, man, like I want to go race. Like it was kind of like I got the same feeling, right? Like same thing with Boot Hill. Like we sit there, you get to the first race, you're like, man, I want to race every weekend now. And it's one of them deals of like, it is what it is. But like you said, it builds up that anticipation, right? Like guys, maybe some people maybe didn't have their stuff completely ready yet. And then that gives them time to build up. And then the guys that were ready haven't maybe necessarily necessarily been able to race as many times as they want to. Now, if you wanted to go race and chase races, by all means, you could go all over the place. But right now in this state of time, it's no, you can't hide it. Fuel costs are absolutely crazy, and it's not cheap to race. We all know that as well. So it's one of those deals that maybe it might just be like you're saying, that right mixture that all comes together, and then we roll in here the next couple of weeks, man, and we just have some absolute star-studded bangers, and I think that does help. Everybody gets a little antsy. You don't race, you technically save money, right? You're not racing, you're not going out there traveling up and down the road. You just get antsy, and then everybody's looking at each other like, man, we need to get to a racetrack. Like let's go. It's 30,000 weekend. Like, we ain't raced in 2 weeks. Let's head over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's you might catch that one-off dude that had no plans of coming, but he hadn't raced in 2 or 3 weeks, or he finally got off of work and his regular track rained out, and they've been rained out for the last 3 weeks, got off work, and just so happened that, hey, it's the only weekend we can go. Let's make a trip out there. Yeah. So it does have its positives to it, I do believe.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. If you listen to this podcast and you own a factory stock and you race a factory stock and you're not, I get it. Never mind. I'm not going to say this because I do I was about to say something maybe off the cuff here. And then I started thinking about it before I said it. I was like, if you have a factory stock and you aren't at the 30K at Boot Hill, then you're scared to get off the porch. No, I'm not going to do that because I started thinking about my buddy, Scotty Gibson, right? He's from New Boston, Texas. He runs Rocket, right? That's like his home racetrack. And Scotty would be the first to tell you, he'll say it right to your face in cursive, that he's a budget racer, right? He has an outlaw chassis. Like, he has a good motor and he has good equipment. But he is very selective about how many times he can race a year because he works every day of the week, right? I know everybody else does too, but he has to be selective about some of the races that he runs, and I totally get it, and I respect that. And I don't think he necessarily anticipates being at the 30K, though I think he would love to run it if he had, the right people, and sponsors. I know he thanks appreciates all the people that do help that 7G car get to the racetrack. But having said that, like I said, I was going to jump off the porch and say, if you ain't got a factory stock, you better be at Boot Hill May 7th and 9th. But yet there are those weekly guys who don't necessarily, like, as much as we get hyped up and, and faded for these big, this 30,000 to win race, not everybody necessarily feels the same as we do. And I have to try, and I've kind of had to learn to respect that, right? Like, not everybody is built for the big money necessarily. And I'm not saying Scotty isn't. I think he could come over there and run well if he showed up in Greenwood. But that's that. I mean, it's episode 82 this week, and man, this is another one of them numbers that's just kind of slim pickings. And I feel like when I say mine, you're gonna be like, you took mine. So I got Max Eddie Thomas. What do you got? I didn't steal yours.
Oh, no, but it was down. But I had a secondary. I had a backup. Sometimes Max Eddie's a good one. It is. I had that one down, but I knew you're probably gonna take it. But Red Bull Racing in NASCAR. Scott Speed ran an 82 car there, 82 and 84. Red Bull Racing, like some absolutely. I don't know about anybody else, and this may just be a Cortland Smith opinion here, but if you got a Red Bull logo on the side of your race car, like, it's automatically cool. Like, I don't care who's driving it. Like, they do a really good job with marketing and the branding and all the teams that they do. Like, the Red Bull racing cars are so cool. And then I also got one ZC. You had to. I fell to the resources of Google. Old Darren Leadfoot, my boy Cody Tupper talked about cars. That's a number 82 off of Cars, bud, sponsored by Shiny Wax. So shout out to all. If we got any young listeners, Darren Leadfoot raced in the 2016 Piston Cup Series and drove a number 82 car, sponsored by Shiny Wax. So that was my Cars reference for our young listeners here, if there's any around. But Scott Speed with a Red Bull Racing, that's my one for the day.
Not the Piston Cup. Yeah, so I had 82 Max Eddie Thomas, course, Oklahoma modified drivers from Quinlan, Texas. And I've done it this last few weeks, and I wish I kind of would have been doing this before, but thank you very much, Google. The 80 number 2 and NASCAR Cup Series history has 0. They have an egg in the W column, and no wins for the number 82 in the Cup Series, but they do have 348 Cup Series starts in the NASCAR Cup Series. And key drivers include Joe Eubanks, who made 138 starts back from 1951 to 1961. That was back in the day, son. My parents were born in 1961, so they missed the first 9 years of old Joe Eubanks' career. And then, like you said, I had Scott Speed, 69 starts in the Red Bull number 82 car there from 2009 to 2010. And other drivers that have driven the number 82 in the NASCAR Cup Series. How about this name for you? Fireball Roberts. Like, if you're a fan of racing and you've been around the game, you know anything about, you've heard the name Fireball Roberts. It's one of the most iconic names in all of motorsports. Fireball Roberts drove the 82 along with this one. This is another one, Cotton Owens. You ever heard the name of Cotton Owens before? I feel like you may have.
I have.
Oh, Cotton Owens, son. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty interesting names back then, dude. Like names. We're not going to go down this
JD
rabbit hole tonight.
McDuffie. You know what I mean? Like JD McDuffie,
Yeah.
like just just the classic NASCAR names, dude. I actually,
Sam
got into the
Richmond.
diecasting, right? I'll have to next week. I'll have to dig them out. I got a Fireball Roberts. I got a JD McDuffie. I got all of them, like you said, Richmond. Like I got some really cool ones with some funny names, or I say funny, they're just classic names, right? Like how are you going to ever forget a race car driver that you call Fireball Roberts? Like I don't know how you ever forget it.
Absolutely. So while we're still talking about NASCAR a little bit, obviously big news this weekend, Carson Hocevar. And we're talking about this because he races a dirt super late model sparingly. He drove for Nice Motorsports, getting his career started, there in the truck series. And they did some stuff there at the Gateway Dirt Nationals too in the Dome. Man, it's been fun watching Carson Hocevar's career, right? I always talk about pushing the progression. I like this kid. I really do. And I think a lot of people do too. And man, I don't know how you feel about this. I've seen this on social media here and there. And I don't know how I feel about it. When I first saw it, I was like, can we please stop with the comparisons to Dale Sr.? Like, I personally don't necessarily see it. Like, again, I think this kid is his own person and he has his own persona. But what I think it is, Cortland, is I think people are looking for any reason to root for this kid. And hey, maybe they do see a similarity in their driving styles with his aggression level. But to me, it just kind of seems silly to compare those two, especially so early on in Carson's career. Though Carson does love the sport and he appreciates the history of it. I really enjoyed listening to his post-race interview the other day. Just kind of, he said that he could remember every single moment riding around on the side of that car while he was soaking in that wind. He said that he could remember the certain people that were sitting in the stands and all the people that he pointed to. I had a lot of love and appreciation for how much he appreciated his first ever win. And here's my final thing on it is like, if he's bringing new fans into this sport and maybe some of the old ones that left back when Senior died, then hey, man, you can compare them to all you want to, right? If it brings new faces and new feet and new people into the sport, then hey, guys, I don't really care what you do. You can compare them all day. My question to you on this whole situation, you can add whatever you want on Hocevar. Be honest with you. Did that victory lane celebration? We had a surprise birthday party for Jeff Lewis Sunday at Shane's Seafood in Bossier. Me, Ronnie Humphrey, and a few people we were watching, they had it on the big screen. And the audio wasn't on, but dude, we were sitting there hooping and hollering for Carson to win this race. But then he gets out after the race. He sits on the side of the car. Like we kind of knew what he was trying to do, but man, it looked a little sketchy getting started. Like the man was struggling trying to get this celebration off the wheels there, but he finally got it. But dude, that was pretty polarizing. We haven't seen anything quite like that. I heard people comparing it to 1992 and Alan Kowicki did the Polish victory lap. It was pretty iconic and polarizing, man. And for me, it was just how much that win meant to that driver. And that ultimately is what this is all about. Seeing the emotion on Carson Hocevar. Like when he crossed the finish line on Radioactive, you can hear him. He's hollering his team. He's thanking his grandpa. Like he's literally in tears thinking like, thank you, grandpa. It's just, I love it. Like I love that kind of emotion. And I think that's why fans love Carson so much. He's got a lot of new people in his corner. And dude, I just hope that he can keep this up because if he can keep this up, he's a budding superstar in the making, man. Congratulations to Hocevar, big time win.
100% congratulations to him. And you said it perfectly. I was going to mention it and you led right into it. If you hadn't mentioned it, that victory lane celebration, man, to get out like, and hey, my boy Carson ain't no short dude. Like them long legs had to be folded up in there to get that thing going. Obviously you could tell he had some issues to getting started, right? But he got it going and rolling, man. And just like you said, the emotion, right? Like I always reference like Tim McCready when anytime he gets out, whether it's a 10,000 win or 100,000 win, like he pounds the roof and he's excited. And not that NASCAR guys don't get excited like everybody, but we're just so used to the standard burnout, right? And that's why this made so many like this. That's why this is going viral, is him going down half the front straightaway, over half of it, the whole front straightaway, hanging out the car. And it's just something like you said, man, he is a budding superstar. And if you're going to make comparisons to Dale Sr., then by all means do it, right? If that's what's going to get people back in the sport and get it back to its heyday, if Carson Hocevar is going to be that dude, then let him be that dude. And he's got the attitude about it. Like he's got that don't care attitude. I don't know if you ever seen the video going around where they interviewed the NASCAR drivers and they asked what driver would be the first one to wreck you. And like all the drivers go, Hocevar, Hocevar, Hocevar. And then when they asked Carson Hocevar, he's sitting there and he goes, they probably all said me, so I'll just say myself too. Like he knows it. Like he knows he's a little aggressive. I think it was Noah Gregson was on Door Bumper Clear. And even he said it. He's like, Hocevar would be the one that like you have 3/4 of a car length open and he'll wiggle his way and find his way and beat his way through there, and he'll pass all of us. And he goes, "We can all do it. We just don't do it." And Hocevar keeps on doing it. Nobody's going to do nothing to him. So yeah, like I guess just let Hocevar do Hocevar, right? Like it's just really cool to see what we have. It is he's got a great attitude about him. I don't know. There's something about him I think that just drives people to him, right? Like that you just can't describe it. You don't know what it is, but he does have that persona, that swagger, that attitude about him that kind of makes people kind of trend towards him, right? And the way he got up
for years. Just want to add that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you hit the nail on the head right there. That kind of attitude, showing who you really are, right? Like the dude was racing racing in the hauler one day during a delay, right? Like he don't care. He don't care about all these norms. He's going out there being Carson Hocevar, and guess what? My man rode the Dente all the way to victory lane and had that entire Talladega front stretch absolutely ecstatic, man. So shout out Carson Hocevar. Like you said, it is exciting to see him getting a late model because he's on the gas 24/7, right? But really excited to see that, man. And like you said, this kind of might be the star that NASCAR needed and puts it back on the trajectory like it was back in the golden era, right? So it is really cool to see.
Dude's sitting 8th in points too. I mean, after 8 events, the dude's sitting 8th in points, and he's driving for Spire Motorsports. Like he's making a name for himself, driving for a team that otherwise wouldn't be really anybody and probably wouldn't be getting much recognition. I know that they're trying to get their name out there, but man, they've got a pretty good driver. My question is, like, I see all these comments where people are like, Rick Hendrick needs to snatch him up and this and that and the third. It's like, well, man, how cool would it really be though if Carson Hocevar made a name for himself in the number 77 car for Spire Motorsports? Like, how electric would that be? That would be a game changer over anything. Like, don't give him the cheat code. Don't give him the 48 car. I know Bowman's probably going to stay out. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I know Hocevar would want to drive the best possible equipment, and I would want to see that for him. And I'm sure he's getting, to where he's earned that right to get a ride. But I think it'd be pretty cool to see him just kind of carry on with what he's got, right? A few weeks ago, right, on episode 78, we were talking about Furniture Row Racing and Martin Truex Jr., right?
I was just about to say that.
So anything is possible. Furniture Row is exactly in the situation that I would say Spire is in right now. So pretty interesting stuff there. That's a wrap on NASCAR Cup racing from Talladega this weekend. Corey Day, by the way, did get his first career O'Reilly's Xfinity or O'Reilly's Busch Series win, whatever the hell you want to call it, on Saturday at Talladega. I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected his first one to come at Dega. I think a lot of people probably would have expected Hocevar's first one to come at Dega. Maybe not Corey Day. But Corey hadn't made a whole lot of friends in his young start to his asphalt side of his career. He was due to be at Arrowhead tonight racing the sprint car. He'll be at TMS racing the O'Reilly Series this weekend, along with high limit sprint cars that'll be at the TMS dirt track as well this weekend. Dude, I should have led the podcast off with this tonight. It should have been in my little intro. Cody Smith is a madman, Your Honor. A desperate fool on the endless, pitiful ropes. That dude is true. We know it. I think we all know it, but let's just talk about it. Cody Smith is an assassin behind the wheel of the race car. And he showed us. So the assassin part of it comes in the limited modified feature. Dude rolling around in second, had a hell of a battle rolling through the rumbly stumblies and the cowboy up stuff. He's running second all the way on the white flag lap. And dude, he just floors it through 3 and 4 and makes a final lap pass coming off of 4 to the drop of the checkered flag. And I was like, damn, he just got up on the wheel and went and got it done when it needed to be done the most. I mean, we know how good Cody Smith is at RPM, right? He gets bottled up early on in this factory stock feature. The race goes caution free on a cowboy up, hammer down racetrack that saw Jeffrey Abbey jump out to a pretty commanding early on race lead. And then Cody Smith just starts chipping away at it in lap traffic. It was one of the best, worst races I've ever seen. I don't know if that's fair to say. I don't know if that's fair to say, but it was a really good, bad race. I don't know how to say it. And I say that because the track was just rough. There was a lot of other scenarios, but it went caution free.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget it. It was a good race. It was a really good race. I'm just kind of reiterating what some people text me like, dude, this is one of the best, worst races I've ever seen. I got a kick out of it. So anyway, things got a little Western. Smith and Abbey are duking it out in lap traffic, and Cody Smith comes out on top. And we'll get back to more into the factory stock stuff. I'm just trying to explain this trifecta that he got done.
Yeah.
A hat trick on Saturday night. So him and Abbey duke it out. He comes out on top there. They rubbed doors, made a little bit of contact. They were going at it. Things got a little Western there. Sheet metal was bent. Then Cody Smith starts inside of row number 4 in the modified feature. Starts 7th in the A mod feature. It's a 26-car field of mods there on Saturday night. And Cody Smith may not have the best car in all 3 classes on Saturday, but he was most definitely the best driver on the grounds. And the results prove it. Yes, RPM's Cody Smith's home tracks, but that's how you defend it. Like, that's how you defend your home racetrack. He ultimately, the 18 car was the smoothest car rolling through the holes. It was just truly an impressive performance all night long. Like, I don't know how else you slice this up, but here, let me crunch some numbers for you real quick. Cody Smith beat / outran, outperformed, however you want to cut this one up. He outperformed 108 other drivers who checked in for battle in those 3 divisions on Saturday night. 49 factory stocks, 26 mods, 34 limiteds. These were full fields. It's not like he just went out there and won over, a 15-car limited field or this, that, and the third. No. Dude went out there and won 3 classes in one night at RPM Speedway, not including over 49 factory stocks in the RaceON All-Star Challenge of that portion of that event, which paid really good money, and the elites of the elites were there. The last time I saw anything similar to anything like this, and I know you know where I'm headed, was Shane Hebert.
Yep.
He won the super late model portion of the Spooky 50 in 2013, driving his Bob Pierce 9 car. He drove Kate Diller's 97 side-by-side chassis to Victor Lane, where he started 8th in that feature that night, and he also started 9th and won the limited modified feature that night. I have never seen anybody duplicate a performance like that. Outstanding performance by Cody Smith this past week, and your reigning king of the hill is going to mean business when we come race for 30 large here in just a few weeks.
RESPECT, my friend. Mad respect goes out to Cody Smith and his entire camp for the performance this past weekend. I mean, you put it out there perfectly and laid the whole scenario. And my dude, absolutely. And this wasn't, I'm going to throw this out there. You mentioned kind of rough and tumble. Like, this wasn't no racetrack that you could just go out there and for 20 laps just kind of ride around. Like, my dude had to work for every single one of these, whether he had the fastest car or not. Like, you were on the ragged edge every single lap, because you go in there and you hit the hole, you shove, you might knock the wall down. He tried to knock the wall down a couple times in the modified. Like, it was just complete madhouse. And the dude goes out there and puts together 60 of the best laps that you'll ever see on a racetrack like that. And it's not even in a, like, yeah, the limited and factory stock, they're kind of similar, but man, that factory stock is so much heavier. You're kind of under horsepower. Like, it's just, they're really 3 completely different race cars that nothing can really transfer over. And the dude goes out there and just flat out dominates it, man. Like, he was awesome to watch. Those are the nights that you wish you had a GoPro or somebody was around there filming that entire night, because not only did he win all 3, there was only one other class there that he had time in between. So he's hustling and bustling between cars, I'm sure. I know Robert Clark probably had the old limited modified under wraps there. Shout out my buddy RC. I ain't seen him in a while, but I'm sure that whenever he does roll into town, I'll see old Robert Clark. But and I know he had the limited program probably under control, but man, just hopping between all 3 of those cars, none of that's easy. Like, we don't, like, how many times do you simply see somebody try to race 3 cars in one night and just try to make top 5s? And this dude goes out there and absolutely lights out, elbows up, get it on, ride Bushwhacker for 90 points at the PBR, bud, because he rode her for all 100 points and got the job done. And it was awesome to watch. It made it entertaining. Let's just be real. I'm going to jokingly say, I think I was the one that texted you, this is the worst, best race ever. And I was kind of being sarcastic about it.
I know you are.
Just because it was one of those deals of, like, we went caution free. We didn't have a lot of cautions, and you could see guys dropping out. Like, I think Nate Dixon had his hood fly up at some point. You got guys falling out left and right, and it wasn't nothing they could do, right? Like, you had rain and they got it in, and I know nobody's mad about it. So like, that's part of it, but it was just absolutely phenomenal to watch him. And like, I was a true fan sitting there. And whenever they roll out the modified feature, you're like, can he do it? Like, is my man going to do it? Because that race through lap traffic with Jeffrey Abbey was phenomenal. What he did in the limited modified race was phenomenal. It's like, can you put the trifecta together? And guess what? Cody Smith can. That dude is a certified wheeler. I don't know if you want to call him an 18-wheeler, 24-wheeler. That dude can wheel anything, man. And we've seen it. I mean, we've talked about him several times on here before, but I don't think he necessarily gets as much respect as he should get, because the dude can flat out drive. Like, he's kind of one of those guys. He's one of the king of the hill, but like, he don't get on social media a whole lot. You're not going to hear a lot from him. My man shows up with the beard and is planning on kicking your chicken. You know, like that's all he's showing up to do. Like, he shows up with a beard, a fire suit, and a helmet, and he's going to kick your chicken all night long. And that's what he did at RPM Speedway.
So we don't get to see Cody race up in the Architects except for when the big money's around, right? He's the reigning king of the hill. He won at Boot Hill last year for $10,000. I mean, you put your name in that list of drivers who's won the king of the hill. Like, we know what Cody can do. He used to race USMTS modifieds, but he is one of the most versatile drivers we have in the great state of Texas. And we should truly be honored that we get to watch a guy as talented as he is race every single week. And if he had a super late model opportunity, I have no doubt in my mind he'd figured it out pretty damn quickly and start contending for wins in a deal like that. I mean, he's just a super talented race car driver, man. And he's a really great guy too, man. He really, really is. But I want to talk more about this All-Star Challenge. And I kind of want to talk, I know we've been talking about this factory stock class the last few weeks as we get closer to this 30K. This weekend, if the weather works out right, I know Saturday looks good. It all depends on how much rain we get on Friday or Thursday to Friday over there in Greenwood. I know Bubba and Arello want to race really bad to prelude this 30K Spring Nationals coming up next weekend, May 7th through the 9th. But, man, it looks like to me, after Jeffrey Abbey's dominant win at Southern Oklahoma Speedway. Now listen, Cortland, when I say all this, I know it's not Boot Hill, right? I'm just talking about what I see from drivers and the speed that they have had at various racetracks. Now, we have seen Jeffrey Abbey perform well at Boot Hill, so I have no reason to doubt that speed that he had at Southern Oklahoma will more than likely translate the Greenwood, Louisiana's quarter-mile speed plan. But it looks like to me, Cody Smith, Jeffrey Abbey, Joshua Martin, Justin Whitehead are your top four right now in the factory stock division. And this isn't to call anybody, as far as wins go and just pure strength of speed right now, these four guys look like, and CJ Howell. CJ's been rolling here lately, too. He's got a couple wins at Sabine. I'd say those five, man. You know, and I'm not trying to knock out the 27. The whole purpose of this conversation and how I'm framing it to you is okay, we've got the addition of Cody Smith. Yes, he won the King of the Hill last year, but now Jeffrey Abbey, who did start on the front row or start up front, you know, in that big deal last year, didn't come out on top, but he's been really good in that Hardman Motorsports car. My question to you is, with the addition of some of these newer guys, I know it's a lot of the same characters we typically see, but everybody would say the proverbial favorite coming in last year was the 27 of Dalton Faulkner out of Cut and Shoot, Texas. He rolls up 9 spots to finish 6th on Saturday night in this 20-lapper RaceON All-Star Challenge race at RPM. But has everybody caught up to the 27, or is the 27 car just struggling a little bit right now? Like, what's your take on that?
I wouldn't say struggling. I think it's we ride this wave of racing, right? Like, we have speed and all these guys are fast. Like, I'm not knocking nobody, but you look at Daff, he got into the wall there, or would have had a chance to maybe Hail Mary and win at Boot Hill a couple weeks ago, right? He gets to RPM, gets not necessarily a bad draw of a heat race, but just gets bottled up in the heat race there. Stuff doesn't go your way. And then all of a sudden you get started in the back of a feature. And I mean, it's hard. Like, these guys are all really, really good, but to I kind of answered that, but I didn't. I think everybody, we talked about it last year, how wide open we think that this factory stock field is. And I think now, like, even from last year to now, it's even more wide open. Like, you really couldn't pinpoint your finger of this dude's going to go out there and dominate at the big shows. And I think like that is what we've wanted in the last couple of years, right? Because every single year it just seems like we work our way up and we got this guy pinpointed, but then you turn around and you look, you got a guy like Cody Smith last year winning the King of the Hill. You got Mark Underwood Jr. won the King of the Hill. And those were two guys that I'm not saying weren't on nobody's radar, but they weren't expecting them to go in and win, right? And now it just seems like not everybody's so even. 36J still going out there doing 36J things, right? When you roll in there, he's going to be a contender. Josh Martin is obviously on a hot streak at Boot Hill. It's just so I just feel like, personally, from a race fan and from a ex driver, I'm not going to say retired, you had to be good to retire, I just quit. Whenever you got all that stuff and you're just looking at it, man, everybody is just gotten so much faster. And yes, they are catching up to Daff, but Daff has had a couple bad breaks. So do we really know how it's going to go? Daff wasn't able to go out there and dominate on the cushion like he normally would. So maybe they are catching up, right? Like, it's just so much, but that's, and I'm going to lead it to this. That's why we show up to watch the 30K, right? Who's going to be the baddest hot rod on May 7th through the 9th? and who's going to take it away. Who knows? I don't know. Cody Smith was the baddest hot rod of the bunch in 3 different classes at RPM. But when we roll into this deal and we're looking at all these guys, man, I know we've said it last year and kind of led up to this, but I think even this year is just more proof of just how wide open this thing is. Take a Jet Hefty, for example. He's been on a hot streak. He could roll in here and show somebody, you know what I mean? Like really, there could come from any way. Boone is in the David Hood car. You got Neil Kemp. I feel like we ain't talked about Club 20 enough. The dude's won how many King of the Hill ZC? Like, I mean, dude, like it's literally so wide open. And I mean, that's just me. I really do. You can't pinpoint a favorite. What Jeffrey Abbey has done is impressive at Southern Oklahoma Hot when he did RPM. Cody Smith, we know, is a dog. Let's just go ahead and say it. 36J is going to do 36J things. Martin's on a hot streak. Daff is Daff. Craig Persley came up and showed speed when he rolled in a couple weeks ago. Like, dude, it's just, I really, truly feel that it is more wide. That's the third time I'm saying it, that I'm turning it back over to you. We are more wide open in this factory stock class than we have ever been in the last 5 years. And I will stand on that point right now. And I hope somebody goes out there and proves me wrong. But until then, I think we're more wide open than ever.
And how about this and the results on Saturday night in your Rick Murray Electric Factory Stock sponsored RaceON All-Star Challenge feature? How about the 68-year-old Wiley veterans finishing in the top 10 on Saturday night? Skeet Amison coming home in 7th in the feature, and Ricky Ingalls back in the saddle of the Red 81 car. They finished 7th and 8th respectively. 68 years old. AJ, nothing but a number, baby. You love to see that. Again, with Mason Martin had a good run. And how about Neil Kemp coming on 4th in the mud? Like that, he'll be the first to tell you that is not his forte. And the fact that the Club 20 got that Club 20 car to turn in the mud, he had to feel pretty damn good about that. I know he was hoping for a good points night. That's a great run for him. And I think the driver necessarily didn't shock me, but Albert McCall Jr. coming home 3rd on the podium. He won a race going away at RPM a few weeks ago. But Albert McCall Jr. has been rolling over there at RPM at his home racetrack. I hope he shows up in Greenwood to race for the big bucks in a few weeks. I think he'll be a factor and a contender as well.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, and like let's just not shy away from it. We know at this time of the year it can rain, and you could roll in on a Friday, and you're gonna need to be that old mud stud come Friday, cuz. And my boy Albert, like, he didn't have no issues over there at RPM. So like, it's one of them deals, especially when you get there and it's like it's wide open. He had a really good run, like you said. He won a couple weeks ago going away. Like he had a really good hot rod too. I should have mentioned him when I was looking at the results here, but like, dude, it's just it really is, man. And to see him run up front like that, I know that had to be a good shot in the arm for that camp. You know, RaceON All-Star Challenge, go out there and run a top 3 behind 2 dudes that you could argue are some of the best talents that have come out of the state of Texas, right? So Albert McCall Jr., yes. Hey, shout out 7 Club, number 7 gang, come on back. Albert McCall Jr., roll over to Boot Hill, my bud. Hey, I'll buy you a cheeseburger. I don't know if I can afford a pit pass, but I'll buy you a cheeseburger and a Dr. Pepper for your boy over here, 7 number gang.
Yeah, he had the Davey Allison car at one time, didn't he? The Hilltop Lanes 28, wasn't that Albert? Didn't he run that? Or who am I thinking? What am I? Yeah, I don't. What's wrong with me? Yeah, I think it was. I just think he changed his number back or changed it back to 7M. I'm not. Look at me working shit out over the air here on Clark After Dark. Hey, so that's a wrap on RPM, man. Congratulations to Cody Smith, man. He was just the best. He was the baddest driver. Maybe he had the best race car, but driver did his job, man. Like you cannot. This is a night that he will look back on and say, man, remember that night we won that All-Star Challenge race? Well, we also kicked their ass in the modified and the limited as well. Like it just couldn't go any better. You know, like it really can't go. You bring 3 race cars to the track and you're going home with 3 checkered flags and 3 checks. Like it just doesn't get any better than that. And that's why we spent as much time talking about it tonight, because it is deserving of probably this entire podcast worth. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations to you, Cody Smith. You're an assassin.
That's going to be the story that you look back in 5, 10, 15 years. You got kids, grandkids, and you're an old grandpa and you sitting back there on the lawn chair. You show up to the racetrack and you go, I just want y'all to know, in 2026 in April, I showed up and I kicked 108 cars chickens down their throat, boys. That's all I need to tell you. If you don't think Pops had it, Pops could do it, right? Like, that's a story that you'll have for the rest of your life, and you'll tell your grandkids about how cool you were, right? Like, it's just going to be one of them deals that'll live on forever. Like you said, that'll be one of the greater nights he'll probably ever have racing. So it is really cool. And like you said, it could. Whoa, what was? Ruh-roh, Raggy. I don't know what just came through my mind.
My camera went out.
Quit hitting buttons, EC. We're trying to do a podcast over here. We're trying to put Lockie in here.
I didn't mean to hit that button, actually. I hit the air horn button. to highlight what you were saying. You know what I mean? To hoop and holler a little bit, make a little bit of noise for my boy CS across the way. Do you hear me now? All right, man. Over to
Well, I hear you.
the STEM series was at 105 Speedway on Saturday night, man. And I tuned in on RaceON and watched the feature race on that deal. And man, my man Rob Slott out of hometown New Waverly, Texas, same place that Tyler Erb, old Turbo, hails from. Well, my man Rob Slott in the 48 Rob car got robbed coming around to the checkered flag. Funny, his number says 48 Rob on there it is right there, 48 Rob. Yeah, but he most definitely got robbed in the feature on Saturday night because he was rolling down into tournament 3. The white flag was out. Again, hey, this is just the rules. Like, in his eyes, he probably feels like he got robbed. The race was not over until the fat lady sung, and that's what ended up being the case because Stephen Whitaker Jr. on a green-white checkered restart fired the CDR race car number 89 car around the outside, and baby, she stuck. The Robstown, Texas driver Stephen Whitaker Jr. goes to victor lane at 105 Speedway on Saturday night. Johnny Torres rolled the second as well. That is his 4th second-place finish in an IMCA modified this year for Johnny T. He said he's ready to get back in the factory stock. He finished top 3 in the King of the Hill a couple years ago, and I hope to see Johnny back at Boot Hill running for the 30K in a few weeks. But Rob Slott ended up 3rd. Logan Dinsmore, Trevor Egbert were your top 5. Did you get a chance to get around to watching that one?
Yeah, I did. And I have it wrote down to make sure we talk about it, man, because that was really, that was probably one of the better modified races you're going to watch in the country this past week. And it really was, man. Rob Slott got out there early and Steven had to come from 9th. Like the whole 89 car didn't have the easiest path to victory, right? Like he worked his way up. JT worked his way up a few spots, but man, it really, really was a good race, a good racetrack. And that STEM series, man, that's kind of like my sleeper, like favorite thing to watch. Like every single week when I get on RaceON, like I try to figure out where Stems is going to be racing at, like because they really do. That's a good group of drivers between Whitaker, Torres, Dinsmore, Leonard, like all those guys that follow it, right? Moppin's running it, Yep. Like it's got a really good group of drivers, and they really do put on a really good show wherever they go. And then one thing I think they all maybe there's a rivalry I don't know about, but they all show each other a lot of respect, I feel like. And maybe I completely missed somebody cleaning somebody's air cleaner off. And if I did, I'm sorry. But man, 90% of the time when I watch, I feel like they show a lot of respect to each other. The racing is really, really good. And when you put them at 105, that's a track that you kind of look at and you're like, man, I don't know if these IMCA mods are going to get around here, put on a good show. And they absolutely delivered, man. Whitaker comes from 9th to pick up the win. Last 2 laps, make a heroics. He kind of poked the nose underneath Rob there, and he moved down on the 2 to go, and Stevie just put her on the chip and on the lip, right, and just ripped around there. And heck, they were like 3 or 4 wide for 3rd coming to the line, like coming down the back straightaway on the white flag lap, man. It really was a really, really good race. Go check out the highlights. Go check out all the racing from 105, man. They had a really good crowd there this past weekend. And, I think that Stems race did kind of highlight it, though, man, because it really was a really good show, a really good field of cars. And it was a thrill to watch, man. They were ripping the lip early on. Stevie was able to make his way through. Torres was able to make his way through. And like you said, my boy Rob Slott maybe got robbed, but it ain't over till it's over, boys. And it wasn't over. And it wasn't over. So, and he was able to pick up the win, or he was lost it there at the end. But man, when he gave his interview, he was cool about it, man. I don't think there was no animosity there, but it was a really good race for the Stems, really good night for 105 Speedway, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to take anything away from Stephen Whitaker Jr.'s win. Like he absolutely got up on the wheel and earned it. Like he can't control the caution flag came out on the last lap, like he just played the cars that he was dealt, and he played his best hand, and he came out on top with showing aces that he threw on the deck there. So congratulations to Stephen Whitaker. Also, another highlight from that, man, it was it's neat to see his son, right? His son's been really, really impressive driving, his limited modifieds down at Corpus the last few years, right? He's won some races at I-37 and both at Corpus. He's done some traveling, but it's cool to see SW3, Stephen Whitaker III out there wheeling the 88 car, in an IMCA modified, in a race with Dad. I know Dad likes to make a couple of snide comments about him down there in victory lane. Like, yeah, well, thanks to my squirrel of a son bringing the caution out. I think said something like that. He saved us. He got us this win tonight, basically. But yeah, it is cool to see little Stephen Whitaker III out there racing with Dad, man. It's he's going to be good. He's going to be a really good racer. He already is good, but he's still pushing the progression and gaining experience, and he'll be up there contending for wins, but not for too long. And I'm sure Carolyn's probably pulling half her hair out, out there watching them. And I think Jace too, the youngest one, he's on his way up too. And think he's made a couple of spot starts here and there. I'll have to get with Steven and see. But yeah, man, I agree with you too. Like anytime my pal Nick Robbins is on the call, it makes it that much more enjoyable to listen to be honest with you. You know, makes me enjoy watching the Stems races. Good announcers make a difference. Just saying. I don't just saying they do make a difference. Let's move over and talk about the USMTS this weekend. They were at Scotland County in Memphis, Missouri this past weekend. And I did want to kind of talk a little bit more about the other results at RPM at 105 before I completely moved away from it. K-Mo got a hobby stock win there. We'll jump into the USMTS and Lucas Oil here in a second. Mark Cup Jr., dude, he was about in tears down there in Victory Lane getting the factory stock win. Matter of fact, he was. Because and it was pretty cool because he's like, man, he said it's a dream come true to get to race with Mr. Craig like that. You know, like it was pretty cool. So yeah, he beat Craig fair and square. My boy K-Mo Kenneth Montgomery came on top there in the hobby stocks, and believe Scott Jordan, yes, he did. Tracy Denby Jr. They finished 1 and 2 there. Scott Jordan got the IMC Mod Light win there, and yeah, that's a wrap on 105 Speedway there this past weekend down there in Cleveland, Texas. So again, USMTS was at Scotland County. They were scheduled to be at Amarillo this weekend at Route 66 Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, that has already been rescheduled for late August. Good news is now I can make that race because I was not going to be able to make it this weekend. I texted Todd earlier and I said, I am game for August. I think it was 21st and 22nd. I said, I am game. Boot Hill is off and I got a free slate. I think 67 runs that Friday, but I should be able to get David should be there and all is good in the world. So that is the last racetrack in the state of Texas that I've never been to, and I'm really excited about going to Amarillo. I've announced that every track in the state of Texas except for Amarillo, not saying that to put a feather in my cap or anything like that. I've been doing this for 20 years, so hopefully I've made it to a few of them by now, right? Anyway, so USMTS at Scotland County this past weekend. The story coming out of this deal is Reese Solander is still your points leader. He's got a 30-point lead over Tanner Mullins. We'll get into the results. But Rodney Sanders gets disqualified on Friday night after his win at Scotland County for deck height. Trenton went down there and interviewed Darlow and asked him what the deal was. And Darlow said, look, I mean, there's basically no gray area on deck height, right? It's either you are or you're not. You know, it is, you isn't. And that's one of them tough deals, right? Because you remember when Kay Dillard won the 100K in the mod a few years ago, and everybody was talking about his rear end being indexed or cammed over or whatever. That's essentially exactly what happened to Rodney Sanders, which basically gives you a lot more. You could probably explain this better than I could. I don't know. But it basically allows your spoiler to stand more up. You got more rake in the, in the sheet metal in the car. So the air flows through it better. I mean, it can give you essentially a few tenths. I don't think Rodney intentionally did it. I think the track was a little hammered down, a little rough on Friday. He probably hit something and it knocked the car and it stuck it in that position. So Tanner Mullins inherited the win there. But so Sanders got DQ'd on Friday. I can't recall the last time I ever can remember Rodney Sanders catching a DQ for anything, certainly in a modified. And with the USMTS, that was pretty interesting. And finally, Kay Dillard, I'll wrap it up and throw it to you. Kay Dillard dominated on Saturday night. Dillard dominated on Saturday night. He led a good portion on Friday as well. He broke something. I didn't hear exactly what he broke.
It blew a tire out.
Okay, yeah. So Mullins ended up with a great weekend. He finished second again on Saturday night. So he inherited the win on Friday. Did Tanner Mullins in the O2. He finished second on Saturday. Solander has the points lead by 30. Brandon Davis advanced 20 positions on Friday. He sits third in the points, and it's runs like that, Cortland Smith, by Brandon Davis, which has him only 57 points out of this league and has a really good shot to win this Summit Racing Equipment USMTS National Championship this year. But again, Sanders DQ'd and Mullins with the win on Friday night. Dillard dominated Saturday. That's your USMTS story. What'd you get out of it?
Yeah, I had to go back and do a double take on the DQ for Rodney Sanders because I thought the same thing. I'm like, wait, Rodney Sanders got DQ'd at a USMTS mod race? Like, that never happens, right? Like, that's not supposed to happen. But it's one of them deals, like you said, everybody's looking for every advantage, just to shortly wrap it up instead of going on a big monologue here. But, like, you just want to get your deck as high as possible because if you get your deck higher, guess what? Your spoilers higher, guess what? You got more downforce on the car. And when you're at a big track like Scotland County, man, like that air and everything is so much more important that it really makes a deal. And it's the whole reason we got the droop rule in the late models, right? Just trying to get, late models got crazy, trying to get the decks real high, and then it just kind of all rattles down. But, I had to do a double take there with Sanders. Like you said, it's kind of one of the deals like you never see him get DQ'd, right? And it wasn't nothing that they did intentionally. It just kind of happened. Tanner Mullins had a really good weekend. 97 things in a modified. When he shows up to a USMTS race nowadays, you expect him to be contending for a win. But to hit the Brandon Davis deal, I had that down in my notes as well, and you said it perfectly. The nights when you got to rally from the tail of the field, those are the nights that you earn it, right? Like there was nothing easy about it. Started 25th and went all the way up to 6th. Whether people broke, got DQ'd, it don't matter. He essentially advanced 19 spots on a night that you could sit there and say, man, I'm starting 25th. I'm just going to go out there, get my start money and just try to ride around and survive. And that dude made every possible gain that he probably could to better his advancement, and not only on the race night, but also on the points nights. And those are the nights that you look back on. And if it ends up being his year and he wins the championship, those are one of the nights that you look back on and go, man, that night probably saved us right there, because we could have thrown the towel in. We could have just made a couple laps. Scotland County, big track. It's hard on equipment. We don't got to go out here and gas on this thing, man. Like, we're starting 25th. Like, we obviously ain't starting off too hot. Like, we just take our wounds and just rally the ship for tomorrow, right? But he didn't, man. He fought back, and those are the nights that you have to have to be a contender on a national tour in points racing. So shout out to the Davis camp, man. Those are like I said, that's the nights that make a champion right there. And a team, that's a whole team morale and everything about it, man. Of course, a win boosts confidence way more, but man, there's nothing more enjoyable than when you work, when you're working for somebody. Like, I'll never forget the nights that we rallied, that you rally from the back, right? Like, those are just nights that you feel more as a team, right? And it is really, really cool. So shout out to him. But like you said, Mullins comes away with a really good weekend, kind of got gifted a win there, but still, 02 cars is still fast, bud. That Mullins car is fast. Don't fast, sleep on him. He's fast. He's fast now.
Yeah, he's also trying to win his first career USMTS national championship too. This might be his best chance yet, but he's having to duke it out with these young guns, man. Reese Solander is not playing around. Jen Chisholm sitting 4th in points, and don't count out the 6-time champ. Rodney Sanders is still on a 93 back in 5th, sitting in the points. And as you were talking about Brandon Davis, I thought back to that run he had. He came from dead last back all the way up to 5th at the King of America finale on Saturday at Lucas Oil. And those kind of runs, just like he had on Friday night there at Scotland County, are what's going to have him in contention to win this championship when it comes down to the wire at his home racetrack too. Keep this in mind. When we come down to it, if he just has himself in position, he is the reigning Featherlight Fall Jamboree champion with the USMTS at Deer Creek. That's his home racetrack. If he is in contention to win this championship going into his home racetrack, final race of the year, y'all better look out, because that 50 to the 3rd is going to mean business, and he ain't playing around about it.
No.
Hey, World of Outlaws Late Model Series are on track. They have not taken the green yet. They're getting close. Let's talk about the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series real quick, and then we'll wrap this baby up, and we'll talk about what's to come this weekend. We'll get out of here, and we'll get to watch this 50-lap feature real quick.
Yes, sir.
Devin Moran did his deal on Friday night. He is still currently your Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series points leader as well, leaving Saturday night or Sunday at Hagerstown. So he wins Friday night at G-Town. Brandon Shepard absolutely dominates Sunday at Hagerstown. Baps got rained out on Saturday night. So Devin Moran has a 25-point lead right now over Hudson O'Neill. And I think everybody right now is unequivocally saying Hudson O'Neill is the number 1 dirt late model driver in the country. But I feel like this for the last 3 years now. Devin Moran is just like, hey, I'm sneaky fast. What about me? Like, he's not flashy. He just wins. He just goes out there and consistently performs. That is Devin Moran to a T. Now, I know Hudson's been dominant. He's got a few more wins, but this damn Devin Moran is trying to become the first driver to go back-to-back in Lucas Oil since Jonathan Davenport 6 or 7 years ago. Devin Moran is off to a really, really good start to start off 2026 with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series.
Yeah, and the run he had at Georgetown, man, he had to pass 4 cars, and at a place like that, it's one of those deals like, when you got to go past any of them dudes, ain't none of it easy. I don't care if your name's Devin Moran, whatever it may be. Like, you're racing with the best in the business. And there's an interview with Ashton Winger going around, and he asked him, like, is it harder to win on a regional tour or a national tour? And he goes, well, half the time a regional tour has 6 national tour guys show up. He goes, ain't a single one of these late model races easy to win. He goes, like, I don't know where y'all get this idea that any of these are easy, but ain't not a darn one of them easy. Like you got to work your tail off. And you said it best, man. That 99, I've been one of the guys on the Hudson train, right, saying he's one of the best or the best in the country right now. But dude, that 99 Devin Moran, we talked about it last year when he won the championship. Like, People need to put more respect on his name, man. He is toured up and down the road a couple years now. He's getting to all these places the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, right? And he's going and he's got that notebook. He's got a really good team with Roger Sellers. He seems like got a really good group of guys around him. And Devin, he's a late model family. Like, they know what it takes around there. And I know Donnie Moran don't cut him no slack, right? So they work really hard, and he is like that picture perfect guy on the national tour of when you talk about national tour drivers and running the points deal. I seen your finger.
Okay, the World of Outlaws are on track. Dallin Murdy set quick time tonight, won his heat race. Dallin Murdy starting on the outside of the front row in that AK race car, Skyline Motorsports number 13. This is as good a shot as any for Dallin Murdy to win his first career super late model race. Does Dallin Murdy win his first super late model feature tonight? Nick Hoffman's on the front row. Bobby Pierce, Jonathan Davenport, Cade Diller, Garrett Alverson, Turbo are all right there on his heels. I don't think he's going to do it tonight, but damn it, I hope he has a good run.
Yeah, I can't say he's gonna do it, man. I can't. I can't. But like, I'm telling you, the speed that he showed out at Volusia a couple nights and the speed that he's shown so far, if he goes out here and wins it, they're doing the 4 wide now, so we've got a couple more minutes here. But if he goes out there and wins it, am I gonna be shocked? Lord, no. Am I going to be surprised? No. Is there any doubt in my mind that he can go out there and do it? No, not one bit, because that dude can wheel anything. He's in his backyard. Yep. And I mean, that AK race car, it's a little bit different, but I think Dallin Murdy likes being different. I think he's one of them that he don't mind being out there a little bit different. Like, I really do. I think Dallin's just,
he looks like a little Davey Allison.
Yeah, like he runs through the world by the beat of his own drum. So like, I think he doesn't mind it one bit. He doesn't mind a challenge, right? So can he do it? Yes. Is he going to do it? No, I don't think so, man. That first national tour win's hard to come by. That's hard to do.
But he started on the outside of the front row. I think the preferred line is around the top right now. I don't know. I haven't been able to watch a whole lot, but I hope that's the case. Dude, I want him to win. I think it would be cool. I don't care how biased it sounds. I want Dallin Murdy to win this World of Outlaws feature tonight, and I want everybody to listen to this podcast say, yeah, he won it whenever you hear this part of the segment. So, also, to wrap up super late model racing in its entirety this past weekend, the MLRA, of course, MLRA is back as seen live on RaceON all season long. The Reaper, Ryan Gustin, got around Tony Jackson Jr. there late in the going. That was at Farmington Empire Speedway,
Missouri.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, Farmington. Yeah, they're on Saturday night. So congratulations to the Reaper, Ryan Gustin, for getting that big time win. This weekend, we got Texarkana 67 Speedway Me 15 Series on Friday night. I think the American Crate Late Model Series is down the road at Hunt County Speedway on Friday. They moved to Southern Oklahoma on Saturday. You can watch that all live on RaceON. Then, of course, Boot Hill Speedway's got the oh my gosh! And then Dallin just slipped over the top of one in the first lap.
Yeah, I ain't laughing at my boy. I would have sent him straight off. I wouldn't even made the turn if I'd have started on the outside pole of the World of Outlaws race. Boys, I'm not lifting. I'm just driving it smooth off the racetrack. Like, I'm gone. I don't blame him one bit.
I say I jinxed him, but I don't believe in jinxes, folks. I only believe in Jesus here on Clark After Dark. He just sealed her up in there, but I thought maybe I jinxed him because I said, he's in the catbird seat. He's starting right on the outside of the front row. That's where he wants to be. And then he sealed her up in there and went right over the top. Boy, that's what I do at Arkle, Texas. Somebody gave me a shot, but yeah, I was hoping maybe if Carson Hocevar could get his first NASCAR win, and then Dallin Murdy could come in and wrap it up and get his first career World of Outlaws win. That'd be pretty cool. But man, so Boot Hill, we've got the prelude to the 30K. Again, forecast looks good on Saturday. I think it's like a 7% chance. The question, race fans, if you listen here to this podcast, the question here is how much rain do we get from Wednesday through Friday? Hopefully it's not a significant amount, and that we'll be able to race here locally this weekend. So if that's the case, we'll see you Friday night at Texarkana for the Mean 15 presented by Gateway Bank. And then, of course, we'll see you on Saturday night at the legendary Boot Hill Speedway. If you want to race, the Hill's the place up there in Greenwood, Louisiana. He's Cortland Smith. I'm Zach Clark. Always a pleasure to bring you guys all the happenings in dirt track and just racing in general. Thank y'all for listening. Be blessed and be a blessing. We'll see you back next week.
Later.